Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday morning to you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot. Let's jump in. Let's get there. Let's go. We're starting off with Anne this morning because I showed you guys all the Christmas cards from everybody else in the family, and for whatever reason, I just didn't show you Anne's. So there's the picture. This is what it looks like in the card. I think that's a super cool picture. I happen to like it. All right, moving on. We have the Duke of Edinburgh next. Now, he was in London last week. I'm not sure what the event was, but while he was there, he unveiled this portrait of his mother. Now, you can tell, just look at the way he's looking at the portrait. I mean, you can just tell he misses her. Oh, that's understandable. But he and Charles were very lucky that they had her as long as they did. I guess they're all lucky. Could you imagine having your parents with you until you're in your 70s? I think that's, pretty cool. All right, we're going to move on, but still stick with Edward. Edward, they did a slick little thing here. Omid Scobie claims in his book that Edward is a germaphobe who won't shake anybody's hands or come into contact with anybody, etc., etc. So, oh my God, here's a video. He's shaking hands with people. Come closer, people. Yeah, he blew Omid Scobie's claims right out of the water with that one. Love it. Moving on. Moving on, we have a fabulous picture of Sophie that was taken at the Meningitis Now Christmas Carol concert at St. Paul's Church on December 11th. And a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce, as usual, for letting us know what she was wearing. Moving on, all right, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis went to the baby bank with Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She had promised before to come back. Now, I love this video. She drove the car. The kids were there. They grabbed some stuff out of the back. Notice you don't see a whole bunch of security. It's just her showing up with her children to volunteer at this baby bank. It was an under the radar session. So what they did was she went in with the kids. They sorted clothing, toys, and essential goods for families that were in need. Now, this is at a baby bank that's right near the family's home in Windsor. I love it. So they walk in and Catherine says, okay, you guys, people come on their time off to help and do this and this. And guess what? You're the volunteers for this evening. And the kids actually looked really excited. So the staffer then goes up to the three kids and says, you're going to be filling these bags for children of similar ages of you. So think about the things that you would like to play with. And of course, Louis went right to this King Kong gorilla thing and said, wow, this is a big guy. That's what he would choose. I love it. So then they packed the goods in a bag. Then they sorted some clothes. They had Charlotte writing the labels on some of the presents. There was one onesie that had Welsh flag emblems all over it. And she turned around laughing and goes, this is Welsh. Loves it. Now, towards the end of this visit, Catherine actually put her arm around George and said, and I'm quoting, you can see how rewarding this kind of work is, knowing you're helping out others. And George shook his head and said, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, I think that's just wonderful that she's showing the kids. She's not just telling the kids, she's showing the kids. These are the kind of things that you never see Meghan and Harry doing, and you certainly don't see them bringing their children to do. Nope. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce because, of course, they went right to work and got us the list of everything Catherine was wearing and what Charlotte was wearing. Love it. Now, we know what happens whenever Catherine and the royal family are on a high. Here comes Harry and Meghan, right on their coattails to try to show you how fabulous they are and what they're doing. So here is a video they put out. Now, I want you to watch this and see if you can figure out what the overriding theme is. Now, they also put out their impact report. Remember, it came out last year that they worked an hour a week. Well, now they're claiming that they worked 3,176 hours. That number comes straight from their foundation impact report. Now, keep in mind, that's probably also people that work for Archwell, not them, because how many vacations did they go on? There's absolutely no way that they worked that many hours, but they're probably counting the whole time they were in Germany or the whole time they were, in New York, whether they were actually working or not. They're trying to go back and refute what came out last year. Right. FYI, in case you didn't know, what you're looking at above was put together by a sugar. And notice it says Charles 425, Camilla 233. Those are events, not hours. Don't you love the way they try to manipulate the numbers? It's such a joke. Let's move on now to the big news of the day. We know that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, two of the most litigious people on the planet, Harry has been ordered to pay the Mail on Sunday over $50,000 or more than 50,000 pounds in damages during his ongoing legal battle with the newspaper. Now, I could try to explain this whole thing to you again, but Sky News, I believe it was Sky News, had something to say. Why don't you guys just listen to this and then I'll pick it up from there.
Some breaking news. Prince Harry has been ordered to pay the Mail on Sunday's costs, which amount to more than £48,000 after he lost an attempt to have the paper's defence in a libel case summarily thrown out. Well, the Duke of Sussex is suing Associated Newspapers over an article about his legal action against the Home Office over his security arrangements. Well, the High Court ruled last week that the case must go to trial. Our royal correspondent Laura Bundock has the details.
Well, this is all about Prince Harry's libel case against the publishers of the Mail on Sunday. Harry had tried to have their defence of honest opinion thrown out, but in a judgment on Friday, a High Court judge decided it could be included and that the case should go to trial. The judge, Mr. Justice Nicklin, ruled that the publisher had a real prospect of being able to argue the honest opinion defence. So as a result of that decision, the Duke of Sussex has now been ordered to pay the newspaper's costs of at least £48,447,000 by December the 29th this year. Now, this all goes back to an original article published at the start of 2022, wrote about Harry's dispute with the Home Office decision to remove his automatic police protection after he stepped down from being a full-time working royal. The newspaper headline at the time said how Prince Harry tried to keep his legal fight with the government over bodyguards a secret. Then, just minutes after the story broke, his PR machine tried to put positive spin on the dispute. Now, the Duke of Sussex has always claimed this is libelous because it attacks his honesty and integrity. His lawyers are arguing it's inaccurate, suggesting that the prince had lied and cynically attempted to mislead public opinion. For now, though, Harry facing that large bill just before Christmas, just after Christmas, and if a settlement isn't reached by both parties, we now know that the libel trial will go ahead and will be held between May and July next year.
Here's my thought process on this. When Harry filed this lawsuit, they still had the Spotify deal. They still had the Netflix deal. They still had money coming in. Now, of course, we know that that's not happening. Spotify canceled him. They haven't produced anything for Netflix recently. You don't get paid unless you produce something. I believe the money is running out. He has lost the summary judgment. I believe that the judge is going to make this case go forward. I don't believe Harry's going to want to settle anyway because, after all, this is Harry we're talking about. Well, keep in mind, he has to pay it by December 29th. As far as what this person wrote about the case against the Home Office, that's just so he can have another hearing with the Home Office. Doesn't mean he's going to get anything. And I have a feeling that when Harry's lawsuit against the Home Office ends, the UK is going to file against Harry for repayment of those legal fees, of which they are quite a lot. If you think £50,000 is something, wait till you see £408,000. Yep. But unlikely Bob pointed something out. This is just like a down payment on the amount that he's gonna. This isn't the full amount. This is just for right now what he has to put down. So this case could end up costing him a lot more. And right now, he and Megan are running a little short of money. This is gonna hurt. Moving on to this next story, I told you guys before that one of the Tory MPs was going to put forward the new law to strip Harry and Meghan Markle of their titles. He did. It was put before Parliament by Bob Seeley. And the bill is to stop members of the family who choose a civilian life from keeping the trappings of royalty. And if it wins, if it goes through, then they should be made Mr. and Mrs. and they'll have their titles removed. Interesting. What he's basically saying is if you want to be private, give up your titles. If you want to set an example, that ain't the way to do it. You don't trash the royal family while enjoying the perks. Exactly. Now, moving on, I had to touch on this article. They're saying that major brands don't want to work with Harry and Meghan after the royal fallout. They're not getting any deals with the luxury brand. And of course, being branded the biggest losers by the Hollywood publication, which I told you about yesterday, is not helping. They're slammed for being whiny because of what happened with Despair and Netflix and that ridiculous podcast she did. They cannot be marketed in America because of their continued attacks with the royal family. And, I think it's very telling. I think we already know Dior wanted Harry, but they didn't want Meghan. Harry kept pushing Meghan to the forefront. And so Dior walked away. Lots of things are going on, but nobody's going to touch them. Meghan went on that red carpet and said, we have all these great things planned. Haven't heard a peep since. All right, we're going to end with this last article saying that Harry and Meghan's neighbors in Montecito are very unhappy. Now, the bookstores in Montecito are not stocking Endgame. And the neighbors are just not happy with them because they're appalled at the way Harry and Meghan have behaved, the way they've treated their family. They're very cruel. The neighbors are saying, according to this article, that they are completely disinterested. They don't respect them, they don't appreciate them, and they don't want anything to do with them. I have absolutely no trouble believing that. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Hit that like button and the subscribe button. If you've already hit that button, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to leave those really good comments down below. I am reading them. If you've donated to my coffee fund or through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.